you will never lose at the very least. But I still think, you know, in practical terms, bishop g6 might be a very, very decent idea here.
Yeah, bishop g6. Okay, couple of checks.
If rook f8, I think we
f7.
can take and play queen g6 check, and if king f8, we give mate in 2, which is an important detail.
So I guess no,
but
he decided
he went for a conservative option instead.
Queen g3.
I think he went queen g3, not queen f3, which is curious.
Yes, that was check.
Queen f1,
queen
g2. Because he wants to keep the bishop on e4 to not allow f5.
Queen f4 back.
Yeah, and now queen g4 seems like an only move.
And then it's check from e3.
Yeah, but how bad is this?
Look.
Still, I think now
queen g4 was played.
Queen g4 has been played, and
so check on e3, and then if you go queen f3, I take and play f5. That's the.
He went king g2. This is kind of very brave, because now after rook a8, you are.
I'm swapping the rooks, perhaps.
You probably need to play rook c8 check, but then your blockade is broken. Takes, king g7, and then queen f5. I will take on c3.
Yeah, too many things to care about. It's c3, it's queen e2, queen h5.
Yeah, this is probably objectively fantastic for black. Yeah, and rook either b8 or a8. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, he went rook b8 because, you know, putting it on a dark square is slightly more.
Rook c8,
but
yes.
It's still the same position. Takes, king g7. Probably queen f5 because or queen g4. You need to make sure those pawns don't start running. Because if you move the bishop and the pawn reaches e4, I think it's more or less game over. Because once one of those pawns moves from the dark square to a light square, you start running out of squares for your pieces. But both of those moves will lose the c3 pawn, and winning
there is no way. Yeah?
Yeah, winning that position will not be automatic because white has this tremendous blockade. But you know, black is obviously favored to win it.
So I mean, queen f5.
Queen
but then
just take on c3.
Maybe queen e2 is not bad as well. I mean,
or take on h5 as well.
h5.
Yeah, which is why maybe it's actually more precise to go queen g4. So that
to limit black's options.
To limit black's options to just taking on c3. But after queen c3, I mean, something like queen f3, queen d2, king h3. It's not, you know, it's not a dead lost position. There's still some technique to be shown here, because I suspect, for instance, that if queens come off, you might not. Queen c4 is what he played. This is. I thought queen c4 was very risky.
So for a moment, covers everything.
Check, queen d2 check, but I have a, you know, you might run. First of all, queen d1, maybe even without check. Let's say after king h3, queen d1 just picks up. Yeah, king h3 is what he played, and after queen d1, yeah, you pick up h5 next move. Yeah, you needed to safeguard against that. I understand he did not want to.
C pawn is not really important.
Yeah, c3 pawn doesn't really play any real part in that game anymore.
Yeah, because after queen h5, you probably can swap queens.
After that, you know, my feeling is, especially if the pawn reaches h5.
Yeah, if it's not some tremendous blockade with king on f5, let's say, and bishop on f3, something like that, you might be still not winning.
If the pawn is already on h5, I guess you can even swap queens. Yeah, this now has to be a reasonably straightforward technical win, and also Sergey managed to acquire a bit of time. He was down to maybe 40 seconds at one point, and now has a minute and a half, 2 extra pawns and a safer king. Yeah, this looks devastating for Pavel here.
Yeah, so at some point he
still it's very impressive how he went about this game, because at some point, you know, when his you know, very interesting idea with g4, it seemed to pay off because he had a position he could very easily control, and he played it sharply for a win, despite the fact that he lost the previous game, which must have shaken him a little bit. You know, he played it, you know, sharply and ambitiously for a win. It seemed to have backfired, but you know, in terms of you know, spirit, he continues
all the credit.
Yeah, he continues playing extremely impressively here. You know, throughout the tournament, he was in many ways a standout in terms of content, not only the results but also content. And I think it continues today to a large degree. First game was very impressive.
Yeah, this first game was really
the first, yeah, the first
switching the sides. Let's say you go.
First game I was watching from my room, and that was, I thought, you know, I'm witnessing something special there.
So
in many ways, the second one as well. I mean, to show such technique in a very dry position, when you absolutely need to convert a reasonably small advantage, I think, to begin with, if any.
Yeah.
That was also, I thought, a tremendous display from Sergey. Yeah, Pavel is still thinking. He's not even ahead on the clock anymore, and frankly, this position is probably objectively beyond salvaging.
That was Queen D3, check on H5.
King will go to G2 probably, but I mean just
Queen
G4
G4
check,
and H5.
Queen G4 and start moving those
right.
pawns forward, yeah. Probably King F1, but it doesn't really matter all that much what you do here anymore, because you no longer can swap queens, and that was your big trump in this. Whilst the pawn on H5 was still alive, King H1 is what he plays, but it does, as I said, I mean, it doesn't really change very much. Just play H6, H5 here. Start creeping towards goal, so to speak. Bishop F4 is...
Bishop F4.
Or is it Bishop F4 or
H4?
Must be, maybe Bishop H4 is what he played. Trying to play Bishop F2 or Bishop G3. Bishop F5, and now...
No, with the king on H1, it can be that
Queen G5.
Queen G5.
He's in no hurry. I mean,
yeah,
this may
right.
not have been the fastest way to convert, but the good thing...
Maybe he was trying to get the bishop on F2 and C5 to stabilize it all.
But the thing about Black's position is you no longer can spoil it in any way. Right. I mean, as we were discussing, you know, with the pawns on D5 and H5, White could sort of threaten Black with a trade of queens. And Black would need to take a leap of faith in some positions. If he wanted to trade queens, he would have to convince himself somehow that this is winning. Bishop E1. I mean, Sergey is doing it in a very, very cultured fashion, so to speak. He wants to force the pawn to C4, put the bishop on C5, and once it's on C5...
White will beg for a queen's exchange, in which
because it will be such a monstrous piece that there will be no counterplay ever, and also mating threats at every turn. But yeah, giving up on C3 was necessary to preserve the more important pawns. Yeah, because the C3 pawn was of little to no relevance, frankly. Yeah, I'll be very surprised if Sergey does not convert from here, because, as I said, it might take him longer than it would have taken a computer, so to speak, but the position is just so statically hopeless for White that...
well, Bishop C2
Bishop
played
C2.
by Pavel.
You can play H5, for instance, creating a threat of Queen H4, Queen G4 check. You know, one of the things you will be threatening is an immediate trade of queens. But once again, it doesn't really matter what you do here. Bishop D2. Bishop D2. Once again, showing that he is in no hurry whatsoever. Passing the move.
So everything's defended.
Everything is defended. Yeah, and C4. You know, if he wants, he has an option of picking up one more pawn. Actually, here, he can play Queen H4. Queen takes C4.
And then bishop back to G5.
Yeah, bishop back to G5. I mean, if he wants, he can be 3 up now. Yeah, and this is what he does. Queen H4 check, and followed by Queen takes C4. Yeah, 3 up is a bit too much with a worse king. King G2. Just take on C4 and.
I guess now it's winning even with the blockade with king on F5 and
probably,
bishop on H5.
Yeah,
a long way all around.
Yeah, the king will come around and it will be enough. Yeah, with 2 pawns it probably wouldn't have been enough. But yeah, Queen F5, Queen takes D5 check, king somewhere H.
So some stalemate hopes. No.
Can't see the square, but it doesn't really matter what the square is, frankly. I mean, the evaluation is
bishop E4. Bishop E4.
Yeah, sorry, bishop E4, Queen E6, Queen H7, King F8. Now we're 4 up, and I mean, all White has is 1 check, more or less. I expect this game to be over, sort of now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Eljanov showed the fighting spirit.
He still plays every game to